If you ever thought Cape Town was just about Table Mountain, Robben Island and the waterfront, well, we're about to blow your mind. Over the next few weeks, we're taking you on an exciting journey through day trips that most tourists never discover. And trust me, these aren't just any destinations. These are the kind of places that make us love South Africa so much, yet are rarely spoken about. 5 destinations, 5 incredible stories, 0 tourist traps. So I've driven about an hour and 20 minutes from Cape Town, and I've come to the beautiful town of Simonstown. And this is a trip that you could definitely do in a day, or you might do it on the way to the Cape of Good Hope. And it's also worth stopping in Kalk Bay, which I've done, and you've seen videos of that already. But let's have a wander around Simonstown, which is a naval town. Well, here's a bit of information about Simonstown when it was established, and it's a naval port here, but it's also got this kind of, I guess it's famous for this sort of architecture, and another nice place just to have a wander around. Easy to park, and yeah, another street with just lots of shops on and restaurants and so on, so definitely a place to come visit, have a walk and explore. Again, might be part of your journey on the way to the Cape of Good Hope. Again, you can see a little bit more information about Simonstown here. As I say, it's a naval town. I hope you can hear me because it's pretty windy today, and obviously lots of Brits settled here. And yeah, I'm sure I can research more of the history when I publish this video, but there's lots of information here that you can pause the video on if you want to learn more about the history of Simonstown. Meanwhile, I am just going to carry on having a wander around. Here's a map of Simonstown. Go on some lovely walks up the hills, and you can see we can walk all the way up there. This is the British Hotel, which dates back to 1898. It was designed by architect John Parker, and it was restored in 1991 and now consists of private suites. It's part of Simonstown's historical mile. How fantastic is that architecture? You see it all the way along. Oops, about to get run over. As I said, Simonstown is there's a big naval base here, and you can see up in the distance some ships, and there's a nice little jetty area around here where you can come for a wander, grab your fish and chips, which smells really nice. It's a bit hot and early for me to be eating that. And yeah, you can wander down the jetty and look at the naval ships, or look at some of the nice boats, yachts that are here, and also of course you can find some great cafes to sit and watch the world go by. I'm going to have a wander around here. Like I say, the parking's pretty easy here. Here's some pay and display parking, and it's 12 Rand an hour, so that is about 60p an hour. So even if you pay for parking, it's very cheap here. And it's Saturday, so it's fairly busy, but there's plenty of parking. I just parked on the street, which hopefully is free. Otherwise I'll get back to a ticket. But yeah, here is just walking along the jetty. It's a warm day today, but it is actually cloudy. You can see the clouds in the distance, and I think tomorrow's not going to be such a great day, which is why I'm out and about today. I'm planning to do some shopping. One thing I've noticed about the weather forecast down here compared to the UK is how pretty accurate it is. So I've been keeping an eye on the weather and planning my weekend accordingly, because as I say, tomorrow is supposed to be not so nice and maybe even a bit rainy. So though when it says it rains, it tends to rain very briefly or not at all, but obviously could be raining over there in the distance where you can see the clouds on the mountain, so it's probably quite hard to kind of get all the weather right, but you can go on a diving trip here. You can do your dive training here, and you can do all sorts of other boat trips as well. Here's a little monument to a diver, so let's just see what it says. It's a standby diver. I certainly don't fancy going diving today, but this is a nice view of Simonstown and all the houses that are hugging the mountain. That's what I love about South Africa and this part of southern Africa, where everything is sort of built around the mountains, including Cape Town itself. Just exploring some of the back lanes around Simonstown that's taking me up, which is quite challenging in this heat. Okay, obviously it's going to give me some amazing views over the coastline. You can see it's taking me all the way up there, so let's see where this takes us. Phew. Well, I think I'm about the halfway point. Getting some amazing views. What do they say about mad dogs and Englishmen out in the midday sun? It's nearly midday here. Luckily there's a breeze and you can hear them out of breath. A few more steps to climb. Okay, well, I've reached the top. You get a great view of Simonstown and the naval base over there. I can't imagine what it'd be like actually living in one of these houses where you have to climb up here every day, but I suppose you get used to it. Lots of lizards out enjoying the heat of the day. So what goes up must come down, so we're now headed, oops, cars up here. Well, there we go, that answers that question. Cars can drive up here. But what goes up must come down. So okay, there's a good view. The high street where I'm parked, and we're going to start climbing down. Hopefully this does go back down to the bottom, otherwise I'm going to come all the way back again, but I'm assuming it does. Follow that car. In our last video in this day trip series, I'm taking you to the surfing town of Langebaan and another beautiful beach. This is a 2-hour drive from Cape Town, so join me next week when we go and explore the sights and sounds of Langebaan.